try and help out the Shadow Fiend a little bit more, get a little bit extra teamfight control later on.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yep. Okay, that's an Omni Knight. That's not something I expected, but actually potentially dangerous if you imagine these two heroes in the offlane together. Tusk snowballing in, Omni Knight with the purification right after, which is a pretty hefty pure damage nuke if you really think about it. Especially if you consider Golden Boy's lineup, we might see the Ember Spirit mid, but might as well see him in one position, which is rather more popular these days. And then you have an Ancient Apparition, who is decent in tri-lanes, but only in an aggressive sense, just because you have the Chilling Touch available to you to boost the right click. But on a defensive front, he doesn't actually give you too much up against Omnia and Tusk running at you. Yep. I think maybe just the buff piece is the spell immunity, but not the damage, right? It can place the buff on the spell ally or something. I guess that's how it works, yeah. Yeah. Nothing later on down the line with repair as well as Guardian Angel. Great to get up against someone like an Ember Spirit if you just want to dodge out some of that Sleight of Fist damage, or just Ice Blast damage. I mean, sometimes the Ice Blast can just shatter you if you're low health, but if you have a repel on top of you, at least the damage won't come through. The Shadow Factor still will. So if you take damage from a different source, then it doesn't really give you too much. But if you get snapped across the map, that repel can make a difference in that sense as well. And yeah, Gold Boys, they took quite a while to think about the next step. It's going to be the Windrunner for the middle lane, presumably.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yep.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah. If you think about signature heroes and ninjas in pajamas, the Tiny definitely comes to mind, and it's kind of weird that they pick it up without the Wisp, but at the same time it's a hero that can work. Needs a little bit more help though from in other ways, right? In this game you have the Tusk get you close if necessary. You will definitely build a Blink at some point. Without the Wisp it just means that you can't necessarily run a mid as easily, and it means that you aren't as tanky as you are. With a Wisp behind you healing you up, but in this game the Omni Knight can do a similar sort of role. So interesting to see how this works out. It's definitely extremely scary to fight up against, especially as a Windrunner and a Night Stalker, people who want to lay into you later on down the line, where that craggy exterior, especially against a focus fire, can just ruin your day entirely.
Dire team pick.
Yep.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Yeah, that's a question, right? Because
5
Tiny doesn't
seconds
actually have too much mana at level 1 or level 2 even to get a combo off without any help.
Reserve time.
And so him alone, it's really easy to just bait out one spell or two and then just go lay in on him on the Night Stalker, not really caring too much with Lich behind you. So I feel like if NiP want to run these dual lanes with Tusk Omni Knight off lane, then they might run into problems in the safe lane due to the fact that Night Stalker Lich is pretty damn strong, as you mentioned. At the same time, though, that off lane or that safe lane for Golden Boys is also not really the safest. Ancient Apparition Emissary, we talked about that a little bit earlier. And the Jakiro, okay, that's one of the heroes that can work up against aggression, but only so much, not really as level 1, so might see a tri-lane after all. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that offlane for Golden Boys is something that is to be feared here if you're Ninjas in Pyjamas. We'll find out where they want to run this Omni Knight though, because I really think that Omni Knight Tusk is equally as scary as a Night Stalker Lich, and yeah, I think it'll be a battle of the offlanes here. Middle lane should be fairly even here if Shadow Fiend gets a little bit of help early on with the first couple of CS. But yeah, the game started, and this is of course, yeah, from the admin here. He's really happy about this. It's pretty nice to see. Oh yeah. Alright, and with that, if you're just tuning in, this is the Dota 2 Champions League, a best of 3 just kicking off here between Golden Boys and the Ninjas in Pyjamas. This is an upper bracket match. Both of these teams won their respective first games in the group. I believe, yeah, NiP won versus 4C and L 2-1, and Golden Boys actually took out Na'Vi when there was still Na'Vi 2-0 to get here. So if you lose this match, you're not out of the tournament, you're not out of anything, you still get another chance for another spot in the main events. But still, if you can punch your ticket right now, why wouldn't you, right? Yep.
The battle begins.
Every coin helps.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's also a better counter to Egamingbets if you want to try to go that split push route, but I've seen Madara on Egamingbets before. He's definitely no slouch in that hero, so it's really gonna come down to what team can actually take over. Oh, actually, Hera getting already quite a bit of harassment here as well. But yeah, before the action really starts, let's actually introduce our teams before we forget. Era, of course, here on this Tiny. He's getting some help from the Jakiro, played by Hanskin, as well as the Omni Knight, Silkid, realizing that he has to. In the middle lane, we've got the Shadow Fiend, played by Limp, and that leaves the bottom lane for Jonathan Farm on the Tusk.
Yeah, and on Golden Boys, we've got Maybe Next Time, which is not his real name, I believe, on the AA. And Madara on that Ember Spirit, Lich being played up by S224J, again, not his real name, but we've got a little bit of engagement. The Dual Fire came out, Dual Breath, and Skylark working on them. He has to be a little bit careful here. You do have 1,000,000 armor and 1,000,000 regen, but you might, just gonna walk it off. So Skylark on that Night Stalker, who is playing very aggressively, and finally, I think I skipped over Kiza on that Windrunner in mid lane.
Yep.
So, yeah. I I feel like this top lane, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens. Night Stalker also will leave the lane at 4 minutes to do some rotation ganks. And I think this could be actually very valuable for Golden Boys, because Lich can just hang up there, sacrificing creeps and getting levels, which will mean they have a much higher level Lich than their opponent's supports will be.
Yeah. That would definitely be very useful. And I think he also already spotted out Hanskin here, yeah, especially with that Observer Ward. Picking up that Invis rune, so they also have a sentry here that can potentially be the first blood already if Hanskin isn't careful. Skylark making his way over there. Lich is here as well, does have the Frost Blast now as well. There's a slow Skylark, not really reacting too quickly. So, never mind that.
I mean, it's hard during daytime and it's hard with level 1 Void. I mean, he couldn't do too much. I don't think he thought he could kill, and probably didn't want to tank a Purification to the face, unlike the Lich, so...
Yeah, potentially, but Silk was a little bit wild away. Could have at least harassed him a little bit more. But yeah, it's probably low probability kill with Sealcat being as close as he was, as well as Tiny. I mean, he has full mana, Arrow can throw out an Avalanche. And actually now they're gonna try and get the slow on Skylark. Not gonna be close enough though.
Yeah, they did get it. I'm actually impressed that they're hitting these. I feel like it's easier to dodge spell just because of its how choreographed it is. But Hanskin being very good about hitting those. Let's check out mid lane. SF is a little bit behind right now. I'm pretty impressed with Kiza, but at the same time, once he hits level 5, this SF should take off. Although there aren't stacks for him, since this tri-lane has been so... for NiP, has been so involved.
Yep.
I don't see any stacks made up for this Shadow Fiend.
That's the biggest effect this dual lane has, just the threat that they have. Even though they haven't found any kills or even gotten a tiny away from farm, they're keeping both Sealkit as well as Hanskin up top here, so they can't make stacks or Shadow Fiend.
Ooh, down bottom, it looks like we've got a snowball that's gonna be to the death of him. Yeah, he's going on the AA, but this I think is just gonna kill him. They still have Chilling Touch. This should be our first blood, and they get it. They actually let AA take it. I thought Madara would be the one to take it.
Yeah, at the same time, giving his support not the worst. I mean, he already has his boots, but Ancient Apparition is a hero that if you can get him off to a quick minus, then all the better, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. This hero, without a doubt, should go minus 2. We have an engagement at the top rune. Ice Path hits onto Kesa, and let's see if he can get out. No, they need like 2 more auto attacks. Oh, the Jakiro with a haste. There was no escape. And Shadow Fiend, who hadn't been having a greatest time, suddenly he's ahead.
Yeah. That's all it can take sometimes, just a single kill here. Only level 6 as well, not that it really matters for his ultimate, but getting closer to that max level Shadow Race where you could take stacks if there were any. Of course, as on the dire side, it's harder to make it for yourself, but yeah, that kill, of course, as you said, gets him a little bit closer to where he needs to be.
The other reason they might not be making stacks, I've seen this before, is they might have expected the AA to be making stacks for the Ember Spirit. It's not uncommon, right? And then you do a smoke early on, and you just invade your opponent's jungle and take their stacks. But really, neither side really making many stacks. There's 2 in Golden Boy's jungle, but they're very small. And it looks like
in,
mid.
maybe next time on the backside. Limp here, it will not get caught by the cold feet, but caught by the slow. Still get a seal. Oh, but he's the target for the Jackal. Now Jakiro with the Ice Path, though, will turn it around. Skylark very low on health here. Will be run down by Joseph Fun. The Ice Shots will miss, but they'll divert him to the right click for Limp. That's another kill for him, and yeah, that's a gank attempt turned sour. But maybe they can get something else. Maybe next time he finds the courier, but it's a flying one. He's tanky enough for the Ancient Apparition.
I thought that was going to be a very successful gank. After I saw that Shackle, it prioritizes heroes over trees. That's why, because it looked like the angle it should hit trees, but I just didn't have the damage to back it up, even though it's nighttime.
Yeah, it's also that we always expect like these level 4 shackles to last forever, but level 1 is actually only 1.5 seconds. It's not that crazy, even if you hit 2 heroes. So it's sometimes it's just not enough, right? Without the damage with the Jakiro behind you, as well as with the Shadow Fiend, who hasn't really received that much harassment and had the razors up and running.
Yeah.
Oh, rotation here. Skylark might catch Sealkit here. Skanks is there as well. Doesn't get a range from
Sealkit is
though.
Yeah, he's a very hard gank though, of course, with that repel. He hasn't put any points. Maybe next level he'll put a point in degen aura and then continue maxing that purification. I also wonder, sometimes some of these teams, especially against Golden Boys, where I think their early team fight will be predominantly magic, he might skip over Guardian Angel to max purification and get another point. Yeah, what are you doing there?
You're not so fun. He had an Invis rune, found maybe next time they're sitting around the tree line, just comboed him up. And even dodging the Shackle shot here with the snowball, very well done from him here.
Yeah, and so things going a bit in favor of NiP. It's still very even. Oh, up top it looks like we're taking a lot of damage on Skylock, but they can't seal the deal, just not enough damage. So...
They haven't really done much on this Night Stalker, which, I mean, it's the first night, you don't necessarily expect him to get much done, but if you compare that to Yonasan, it's already been involved in that one kill, and yeah, significantly here in that one pickoff on the Night Stalker earlier, near that bottom rune spot. He's already level 6 as well. That task is doing extremely well in this bottom lane and can start creating more and more pressure all around the map. Speaking of pressure, Scans, whoa, he's being run down. Limp with a race, switches him off. Wrong way to go, kid.
Yeah, and now the Night Stalker's gonna realize he has to get out of the jungle. He might actually get cut off by Jakiro, though. Not able to catch him. Ice Path, it's going to latch, but I don't think they have the follow-up. Yeah, and they decide not to go for it. So, not having the best of the first night. He's gonna end the first night with no kill involvement on this Night Stalker. He's trying to go for something now, but he's just gonna be seen by Shadow Fiend and gonna run away. And Jonasan fan on the Tusk, they managed to knock him out again, but as you point out, sometimes as an offlaner, yeah, you gave the kill over to the carry, but you've been doing so well with your rotations, and sometimes you just have to play a little bit aggressively to get farm, and you die in exchange.
Yep. Well, it's not the worst. Obviously, you never want to feed an Ember Spirit. The closer he gets to that Battle Fury, the faster he gets to his next items, and the more of a problem he can be for... Or the earlier it can be a problem for you and your team, because at some point, well, they can work...
Oh, down bottom. We've got a snowball, ice shots. AA looks like he's going to be going down again. Can he get any backup? There is the chilling touch. They've got the searing flames, but AA is too close. They'll get the return kill, but not saving AA there. I was about to point out how AA was already almost level 6, and this just putting him further behind. If you can get level 6 pre-10 minutes, just because you have to play a support and stack, roam, and everything, it's fantastic as the AA.
Yep.
But not looking like he's going to be getting it as early as he hoped.
Yeah, this is still a good trade, though. It's still not a bad time. He's still level 5.5, and now he's getting the middle lane for that little bit of extra. So he'll get that level 6 anyway. And Madara gets another kill to his own. And the Candy Dangerous already has the Ring of Aquila. Going into probably Boots of Travel next, all things considered, before finishing up the Battle Fury. It's kind of the more popular build these days, just because it's so much more farm efficiency.
Yeah, and the map presence. It's not maybe as vital against this team, which doesn't have as much split pushing, but as you said, you save gold, and you get way more farm. They do light a Searing Chains on Jonasan fans, but doesn't look like they're going in for it. So yeah. I think both teams just going to slow down there.
You see Hanskin up top there, so just exchanging some... Oh, there's actually an Ice Path coming in. Night Stalker dies at the same time at top to a solo error.
It was just toss avalanche combo.
Yeah, Snowball on the bottom here, just to dodge some of that damage, I guess. But he gets in, Madara, Pendant's in as well, gets punched up into the air, but now the rotation come in. Seal Kid with the Purification doing a lot of damage. Madara dodges the Ice Path though, and after that they don't have enough damage or lockdown to stop him from TPing out, so that was a close call there, but... Timely rotation, unfortunately, without any sort of effect from both supports here. At the same time, Arrow's shown that he can take care of himself in the top lane right now.
Yeah, we have a nice shot aiming for Kiza, but doesn't manage to hit. Really, actually, impressive escape by Makita. I definitely thought he was dead, but now he's smoking up top. I think they want to do something about Tiny. It's not bad timing for this Tiny gank, right? It's just... It's scary. He is rather tanky, although he just used his avalanche toss combo, and they're going in. There's going to be a Searing Chains. Flame God. No, they need to stop the TP. They just used the Lich ult. Very nicely played there. And now they're also going to see if they can do something to Handskin. Can he get... No, the turnaround, the Ice Bolt up onto Skylark. Skylark is like, this is not what I signed up for. I'm out.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
And they kill up Lich in the back lines. Tusk just punches him. Tusk's gonna lose his life for this most likely. Ice Shards miss. He was hoping to get the separating Ice Shards, but that's really hard.
Yeah. Just can't keep up with Jonas so far, man. He's just everywhere on the map, and yeah,
Ooh.
Hanskin as well. He's been caught out now with Seeing Chase as well, so Silent Sealkit is there with Repel, but I'm not quite sure it's enough up against the right clicks, and actually he's quite fast on this Jakiro, but one more Sleight of Fist will secure the deal. So Mandara, he's on killing spree, 3-0-3. Skylark also came back with first kill on the board here on Jonas so far, and now they're looking to put on some pressure on the top lane. Maybe Skanks is back. It's not nighttime anymore though. That ultimate has run out, so they need another half a minute. They really want to go for this and dive the tower again.
Now they did get the kill up on Tiny, puts his farm back a little bit. This Ember Spirit actually has a bunch of kill involvement. Normally he's someone who has a lot of trouble farming. Just as a heads up, it's I think the timing for an Ember Spirit's Battle Fury after the Boots of Travel is 25 minutes this patch. So he's looking for probably a sub 20-minute one, which will be fantastic if the smoke gank doesn't latch.
Yeah, 12-minute Boots of Travel definitely can help him to get there. Speaking of smokes, yeah, arrows down here. Might find the Ancient Apparition. I'm not quite sure if that's the target he wants to go for. It's definitely an easy one, but not a high value one when it comes to game progression. But there's no one else down here.
Yeah, they're looking for the Windrunner as well, but she can tell something's up. Just, you know, they don't see anybody on the map. Why is the Tiny not farming somewhere? AA is gonna go down, but he throws an AA blast. This isn't gonna help out, I don't think. And Windrunner might have thought that the gank was bottom. No, she's still playing really back. So it looks like Era is saving up for that blink, and I really think it is the best option here. They actually have quite a few squishy heroes. We saw he can even take out the Night Stalker with a Toss Avalanche combo at this point. So I think that having the blink up, picking up the AA Lich Night Stalker Windrunner repeatedly will just be a way to buy them time.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, as a Tiny, especially without a Wisp, I mean, if you have a Wisp, you can kind of make the argument that, alright, you have some extra mobility because of that, but even then we see a lot of Tinies still pick up the Blink Dagger just for the initiation, just for the quick burst up on anyone, especially up against an Ember Spirit. If you can blink on him before you can get the Flame Guide even up, then you can just burst him down in that combo, no problem at all. So it's just a really, really strong item on the Tiny for that reason alone. There's an Ice Boss coming in, but no follow-up.
So they actually got really... Madara tried to go in. They were just gonna take mid town, never mind. Madara tried to go in because he thought it was just 2, and he can take them out as an Ember Spirit since he has fantastic levels considering he was a safe lane Ember. He is the same level as the mid SF, who traditionally farms very well. But, also AA does get picked off by Tiny again in there.
Okay.
No, I mean, he's just doing tiny things. He had the blink, so he went on him. But I was gonna say, Ember Spirit suddenly realizes there's more than 2, backs out, and the AA Blast scouts that it's all 4. So really lucky he didn't decide to go on that, because he thought it was just like a Jakiro and maybe an Omni Knight, which he can kill one of them.
Well, they're looking for this tower, but GB might be able to contest. There's a double damage shoot here. They're getting it for Kaiser. Jonas farm also spotted out. Will die for the cost. Or maybe not. Yeah, Era might get a counter kill, but Kaiser doesn't have actually a mana, but he can't really fight up against him and Skylark as well. Meanwhile, in the back, what's going on here? Madara's going strong. Might find Hanskin here. Ice Blast is on top of him, so he will shatter. Skylark gets a Tiny, and now Sealkit, last man standing up here together with Limp. He puts a repel on that Shadow Fiend, but there's only so much he can do against 4 heroes. They're gonna go straight for the Omni Knight and back as Limp teleports out. And that should be one more kill here with that Void. Triple kill for Skylark. Not the best early game, but a second nighttime, or the third at this point. Definitely working out for him.
Yeah, so I don't know, there were 2 fights going on there, and I'm pretty sure I was watching the one you weren't watching. So there appeared to be some action in the river which tied up the Tiny, but then what happened is the Ember Spirit TP'd in, and it looks like the Jakiro thought maybe it was a TP onto the tower and didn't realize it was bots onto the creeps, so he went for where the TP was, but of course the creeps continued to move. And so the Ice Bolt missed, and Ember Spirit just wrecked their faces there. As we talked about, he's so high level. They had nothing to do against him.
Oh, that'll be another tower most likely. There's a glyph available, they're gonna use it now, and the entirety of NiP's lineup is here to try and contest this. And GB, they don't want to take any chances now, they just took a team fight. They don't want to give up the advantage that they just gotten. Just gonna get out. There's an Ice Blast coming. Will not graze anyone.
And I think the Midas is up on AA. He just needs to have it delivered to him. Let me check. Or did he go a different item? Because he had the hand.
He has.
Oh, he went treads. That's interesting.
Some extra stats to play with, but ideally you want to have that you want to have that. Midas. I mean, it's even in the team logo, right? So.
Well, it's just, there's a variety of reasons, right? A needs the levels. His level 6 ult isn't that great. His level 11, of course, a bit better. But you're really gunning for that Ags, which adds, I think, 7 seconds at the early levels to... Yeah,
Yep.
it adds...
It's,
it changes the duration to 17, which is ridiculous in a team fight, so...
I mean, the threats don't really do too much for him because he generally doesn't really want to stay in the fights at this point anymore. I mean, the most he's staying in the back, dropping down ice vortexes and chilling touches. But apart from that, you want to be as far away as possible so you can get a good ice blast off. But yeah, he'll get it eventually. Either the Midas or the straight up backs if he gets enough kills. But there's an engagement here. Error. Oh, hello, that's a Lich going down. Shackle will not latch. Power. The focus fire will do quite a bit of damage. They put it to chains. Plus the slide fist. And Yonasapan actually will get sniped by that ice blast. So he's gonna go down. But now, Limp caught between the tier 2 and the tier 3. But Golden Boys are looking for more. They're looking for Hanskin in the back. Much easier kill. Limp just teleports out straight in front of him. Nothing to stop him. Steel Kid, same kind of story. But they have Shackle off cooldown again. So that'll be the Omni
He was
Knight going down.
repelled. That's why they couldn't stop Limp. The Omni repelled him because they had the Void up and they were looking for the other targets once they realized the repel was going out on him.
Alright, that makes sense.
A really nice team fight. Again, it just feels like maybe NiP, the Tiny has the blink, but he's not the one-man wrecking crew yet. He doesn't have the Ags. He's now not got good progress on it unless he has something hiding in the bank, which I don't believe he does. Oh, I'm not quite sure what that blink was from Era, and he may pay the price here if Modra catches him. No, didn't manage to get the Searing Chains to latch.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty damn close. I mean, at the same time, it's kind of one of the high risk I roleplay. Not so high risk now with this past as well. That's an easy pickup now. They'll get him right back on track. That's a lot of gold, actually. Sadly, he's going on the Tusk mostly. That 800 gold swing. Tiny only gets to 230 off of that.
Even with that kill, I think it's going to be an early Battle Fury for Madara. We will see. And the Midas is up on Night Stalker. I really... now A is building his Midas. I'm really confused by... We talked about the treads already a bit, but I just really want to stress this guy needs levels. And it's something where because you're stacking in someone you don't get to farm, you're not like some of the other supports who maybe can take some of that farm. You as an AA don't get to. So, kind of interesting that he went that. And our Lich is also... just rocking boots. Lich doesn't traditionally... I mean, what do you go if you're a Lich and you've got money? You thinking 4-star fuels?
Yeah, 4-star Glimmer Cape is always a good choice against pretty much any
Glimmer
team.
Cape this game would be nice because of the error combo. You can maybe save one of your teammates. So
you can even go for Mechanism, even though it's getting kind of late now, so I don't know that he'll go for that. Any sort of support items, you can build whatever on him, really.
Yeah, there also isn't too much to Guardian Greaves up, but of course it will add a bit of armor to your whole team if you can get the Guardian Greaves for that aura for armor. And they're going in for an early Roshan. I like this play a lot from NiP.
Smoking in, it's kind of dangerous up against an Ancient Apparition when you just use this Ice Blast, so you can't actually scout it. With the minus armor and the right clicks from the Shadow Fiend, they should be able to bring this down fairly quickly here, all things considered, with only 2 heroes.
Yeah, Presence of the Dark Lord on Shadow Fiend, it's not maxed yet, but he's level 13, it's good enough, and they have no idea, it seems, on Golden Boys, even if A throws the next Ice Blast, I think it'll be way too late. So they don't actually need the Jakiro here, he's just, I think, in case somebody poked their head in, they wanted to make sure they could Ice Pop.
Oh, Jonas a fan, he's dead though, he'll die for the cause. The Shackle after Scarlet comes in, but hey, they're gonna take that trade any day of the week.
Yeah, and now Tiny stalking up Madara, seeing what he can do in bottom. I don't know whether he'll make the jump. He's waiting for some allies, but Madara, Madara knows something else. I love this type of thing from players, like just the, oh, I feel like something is going a bit wrong here, and now that Tiny shows his face, he probably feels pretty good that he hit away.
It does make sense though. If the Roshan just went down, it's kind of the natural progression of most teams to just then group up, move into the Radiant side jungle, especially if the creep wave is kind of pushing in. But Madara is gonna put an end to that. He's skipping the creep, so all that we have to work with is this one wave up against the
it should be enough.
Ice Blast coming in,
the
will be dodged.
Will still get rid of it. They still can kill this because of the heroes they have, but at least they won't push high ground now. Although I find it kind of interesting that Madara is doing this now, just because the Tusk was dead for a little bit of that, so they probably weren't going to commit to a high ground push anyway, at least until he traveled from base to where the rest of the Dire is.
Yep. Let's actually take a quick look at the graphs here. 21 minutes in, it's actually quite an even game here. Don't know that many have expected that. Golden Boy's even ahead in terms of experience. Of course, partly Midas isn't actually up, so it's pure efficiency on their part across the map and the extra couple of kills that they've gotten. But if you look at the towers and the position that NiP are in, it's not actually all that bad. They have a Shadow Fiend with an Aegis and Mechanism, as well as the Sanjin Yasha. He is freaking 12,000 gold. It's exactly where we want him to be at this point. Just have to make sure that they don't give up too much map control. There's Kaiser with the focus working away at this top tier 2. There's a Glyph available, but there's no one in a position to actually fight him.
Ooh.
And they missed the stun on the Emperor's third here in the river.
That's like near impossible to do. Emperor's Remnant away is instant cost point, but it looked really close.
Yeah.
Because he also had the high ground advantage, but they do have wards for, okay, we missed the Lich kill because I'm looking at what Shadow Fiend is doing. And he goes down just so fast. So.
Yeah. Can't really blame us for that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I actually was on it, but then it was like, I was a little bit, he just went down.
Yeah.
I was like, Lich, well, okay, what, 2 raises. So,
well, it's Nimbus on lip now, so you might find another one if Kaiser sticks around here for a little bit.
Yeah, Requiem of Souls. Yeah.
It actually
doesn't do.
That's really weird.
Yeah, he missed it. Kaiser moved a little bit to the right.
Yeah.
And it just meant that he didn't get hit right. You didn't think he was going to because he'd been standing in the same spot for a while, just farming creeps neutrally. And Shadow Fiend probably a bit irritated because he could have done double that damage, but you know, still an ambitious play either way.
Yeah, it's kind of a low risk kind of play, right? If you figure out that hey, most of them were mid a second ago, so they're probably not here. Just Windrunner farming up here, trying to get to the next item. What will that be for Kaiser? Will that be Melts? Oh, Blink Dagger.
So she just went the Blink. It's pretty common against their lineup, especially with Tiny having a Blink and so on. You want to be able to catch him out of position. Anyone you can catch here. What I want to talk about though is Tiny went Shadow Blade. It's 23 minutes in. I would say it's not the earliest. I understand you force your opponents to buy some vision and so on, but I really was expecting him to rush Aghanims.
Yeah, that is interesting. That's like the Blink plus Shadow Blade to get in
Oh
and
no,
out.
it's to catch Ember, of course, because you can't blink in and then stun. The Ember will always remnant away with the instant cost point, but you can stun from Shadow Blade or toss from Shadow Blade, and you should reliably get it since toss does have a bit of lockdown. It's like, I don't know the technical term for it. It's not a stun. It's like you just can't move when you're tossed.
Yeah, it's a disable.
Yeah, we'll call it disable.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually do like it now that we've talked it out, but he's probably gonna kill off Lich here if Lich doesn't run. Okay.
At the same time, it kind of puts a timer or time on your Tiny, right? Or it kind of puts a pressure on you to actually execute and find these ganks, and it is pretty hard to do in general up against an Ember Spirit, even if you can just get close to him in the first place, because it's gonna be in one lane, gonna slide a fist down, then teleport back to base, remnant back somewhere else, and be on the opposite lane next time. So, not sure if it actually does as much as they wanted to. There's a soon chance actually after the snowball comes in. Madara.
Oh! Oh, he didn't go for what? He's just waiting.
Oh my god.
What are you doing, Tiny? Come on, Era.
Well,
Come on. He's worried about all the backup. Oh no.
No actual lift, no.
Yeah.
But now they're going here 2 versus 5. It looks like if they can just catch up. Madara leading the chart, but doesn't have enough remnant. Let's get the Silent Fist here with Chains come on Jonathan though. No can do with the eye shots there, so it was a close call, that's for sure.
Now, as this gets later and later, I have to say that I favor Golden Boys just because a Windrunner will be able to, Windrunner will be able to kite someone like Tiny. The Ember Spirit, of course, is one of the hardest carries. A bit luck-based with the crits, but he is a hard carry. And then AA, I feel like, is a support who scales way better than anybody else. Other supports.
Yep. And just because of the strength of the ultimate. I mean, he does have that Midas now, so he'll get to his level 11 rather soon. Same for the Aghanim Scepter, already 1,000 gold towards that goal. So that's kind of the one big thing that's always going to be relevant later down the line. Just because you can't heal through that. Oh, Madara. They catch him now with the Tusk Punch, but no follow-up actually. So we'll get out.
He's been doing a really good job of escaping. Part of it is, as we've talked about, the instant pulse point on Remnant and the lack.
Anskin is in trouble. They find him here with Skylark, who actually has an Aghanim Scepter of his own, but they turn it around. Sealkid comes in with the ultimate, and now Skylark on the run. Does have a nice ice path here, actually, Era. He is angry, but the ice blast, frost blast comes in to do a little bit of damage. Now Era blinks the wrong way as Skylark actually makes their way towards top, towards Madara, as well as Gangsta out the man. Jonas now in trouble. He's burning. But so is Madara. He inside a Macropire barely gets out as Sealkid now gets hit by the void as Skylark finally teleports out. Gangsta's still here though. The heal comes out barely.
Yeah. So what we thought, I think we thought that was going to be much worse for NiP, and then with the Guardian Angel and so on, they just locked it all down. Ember Spirit is also just trying to drag the creep wave and so on. He's gonna maybe get caught out. Where is his remnant? It doesn't look like he has one active for another 5 seconds, so he has to run. The A blast gonna completely whiff Madara though. If he can get any sort of remnant off here, he can get deep into the trees and TP away. So yeah, he should be fine here, unless the ice pulse of dreams.
He gets it!
Oh, he's dead. Yeah, the courier scatting him out. So
skin.
Madara almost got away, but no such luck. And then a very good turn for NiP.
Absolutely. I mean, that fight on top was like so weird. It was like stretched across the entire area there, and I couldn't really keep up. But then that chase with Ember Spirit not actually having remnants up and running, and then that's really well placed ice path from Hanskin. He's been on point with this entire game as well. This just shows that he's one of the better players in this particular hero. Yep, he'll have himself a heal scepter now, so that means no more Flame Guard here, whenever. Easy setup for any sort of ice path. I mean, it's the problem with ice path, it doesn't actually instantly stun, so I think there's still a small little time frame where you can still remnant out if you have it up. That's kind of the one problem
if you lay it on the ground when he lands, it should...
Yeah, but you can also pop BKBs after
sure.
that, right? It's one thing that's always been one of the weaknesses of Jakiro. I don't see why it should, but it does, so just Dota things. But yeah. Era, he's looking for something here, but no one daring to come to the low ground for the time being.
Yeah. I think that right now for Golden Boys, we do see that... Okay, why are you in the... Okay, he's just snowballing to spawn the creep wave. Both teams in a bit of a rough spot, feeling like they can't do a lot to pull ahead. It just feels very even. I think though that now that they have on Golden Boys the Night Stalker Aghanim's gem up, they really need to go as 5 maybe to de-ward everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be super useful, but how to de-ward if your entire jungle is infested with NiP heroes, right?
Yeah, you just have to go some of the other parts. They're finding one here. They found a good ward right over here, which is nice, and they're gonna keep searching. If we take a look around the map, we can see both teams really don't have much vision, and vision is what wins you this game. It's something where that's why Night Stalker is so frequently banned out. It's like, how do you win against you have no map control?
Yep.
So,
I've got Madara on the top. Yeah, he's pushing that tier 3 or pretty damn close to it, and the tier 2 is the only thing that NiP can have access to, and even with the glyph. They're gonna have to fall back, surely. They have a glyph available themselves, but they can't take the straight. It's not worth it at all.
Yeah.
Now the TPs
they don't have the tiny ags, so it's not. They don't push fast enough without it.
Yep. He's finally starting to build it now, and it's about 700 gold away, but it feels like that Shadow Blade didn't really do too much for him this game. I was kind of worried about that earlier, but it didn't really see too much of an effect of the Shadow Blade in particular. At least when at least what the Blink Dagger couldn't have done for him. Or didn't already do.
Yeah, 2 things on that. He got an early Blink Dagger, which for the majority of the heroes was enough to pick them off, right? We saw him repeatedly kill the AA and the Lich. And now they're going to scout this Roshan completely with AA, but do they have the heroes around to follow up Haste on Tiny as well? They might just keep going for this with the Repel to stop the Frostbite. The other issue with the Shadow Blade, as you mentioned, he got it at 24 minutes. The supports weren't poor enough. They have a gem already on their Night Stalker since he went Midas, and yeah, easy Roshan. So
yeah, didn't choose contests even though it wasn't going particularly fast. They instead tried to put on some more pressure on this T3 tower, which is actually down to 500 health points, give or take. So it's once again NiP coming out ahead in the objective department a little bit. But if they lose that tower, that's going to be a different story. So they're going to have to be careful. They're going to have to push out this top lane now. They want to make sure that it's not a threat. Instead, they're in mid. They're looking for someone in the jungle, but little do they know that Golden Boys are in their jungle the entire time.
Yeah, so NiP doesn't have any smokes left. Oh, maybe they can do something follow-up on Era. He, of course, does have the stun. He doesn't have the toss for another 3 seconds. He's taking a lot of damage with so many TPs, and Madra will have a Remnant away, but he gets stunned. He gets Yuled up. There's going to be the Macro Pyre, and yeah, that's what you talked about. He can Remnant away. I wasn't sure if it was enough time with the Remnant, but as you said, they're both instant toss points, so it's like... it's frustrating. Now, Madra actually, he might just go and kill off Jakiro, knowing that he doesn't have any of those spells. He's taking so much damage from the Flame God Searing Chains. Oh, here comes the stun from Tiny. And does he have a Remnant active? He manages to kill off Jakiro and get away. Should be the TP out.
Yeah, I can't find him here with the ice shots.
Avalanche has like a million years cooldown. That's the issue. It's like 17 seconds. You're not getting that off twice. Yeah. And so a very good pick. Are they going to go again?
Well, Madara is back here. Get the shades off on Jonathan as well as the silence, but Sealkit is here with the repel, so I don't really think they can continue, but NiP definitely can. They find the initiation on Scarlock. They toss him up and down in the air not once but twice. Now there's a follow-up snowball, and that's him dead at the very least, but Madara's still around. He has another Remnant ready in the back, but it's being scouted out by one of these, one of the sigils.
He's trying to draw them away, as you pointed out, so he can get back to that Remnant. He has a rough time. He also pinged at his team. He's like, while I'm wasting all of their time, Windrunner, can you push mid? And she was like, no, I'm going bottom. I imagine a bit of frustration there, because he immediately pinged mid when he started this Benny Horner chase. Yeah. So, but... it's all gonna end up calm. This game, again, now we're starting to see the net worth trend towards NiP, but we're still well within the realm of evenness, although we always have to point out, with a Tiny, with an Aghanim Scepter, you can be the Tiny's team can be very far behind and you still win, just because of his pushing power. Yep. Speaking of that, Kiza, maybe gonna take a Blink Dagger to the face?
Not for now. Era is walking up to him. Kaiser has the double damage on him, but don't know that it matters too much. Gonna go now, but does he have enough damage? Well, it's Tiny. Not really here. Between the Windrun as well, but Jonas and Fun coming in with a snowball will at least chase Kaiser away. Don't know if they can actually catch him, but he's definitely going to try, but not with teleport out. It's all good, but hey, meanwhile, top Madara, he's never left his top lane, really. The tier 3 will go down. Era not close enough to actually get the initiation, so even though you do have that scary Tiny with the Aghanim Scepter now, even though it's a little bit later than usual, they can't really put it to work because Golden Boys are keeping them honest. They're keeping them off their tier 2s, off their base.
Yeah, and I really like this Ember Spirit's on the Scotty. A lot of people prefer to build very gloss clamp can crit stick Embers. Oh, he's gonna get stunned.
Where's the follow-up though? They need more. There's a Sleight of Fist here, doing quite a bit of damage as well as the Remnant back. You should be able to just teleport out, and that's the big problem with the Ember Spirit. You need more lockdown than this. They just don't have it between these two heroes.
I mean, it's also... there's a lot of issues with a lack of lockdown. I think they were hoping that Walrus Punch Snowball would be able to do more, since again, Walrus Punch is another disable, but instead they'll just go for the top push. Golden Boys might meet quite a bit of resistance here if Ember decides to come around and just Sleight of Fist them, but here comes Era. This tower's gonna fall.
Well, gonna be happy with that if you're Golden Boys, but they definitely have to hold the high ground now. There's a split push going on at the same time. This bottom tier 2 should fall with no glove available. At the same time, that tree is doing so much damage to these towers, and that might be... yeah, should be tier 3 going down. GG are not committing just yet.
How did that shackle not latch? Anyway, they get the cold feet. They're gonna land an AE blast as well. That's gonna be the first slice, but Madara has to figure out how to get back to his team and pick up all of these creeps. They should be able to land a second shackle if they go for it. It doesn't latch again. He keeps going for it and limp now. Gonna take another chilling cold feet to the face, but Madara on the sidelines. Walrus punched up with that lockdown. Needs to Remnant away, but can he in time? He uses the Searing Chains. A lot of people slowed up, but the tower already really low. That shackle finally on Jonas and Fan should be able to get a kill there, but the Requiem of Souls reducing everyone's damage finally goes down. Who has that defusal?
It's on Windrunner here, but they're not quite done yet with the chase. Handskin will get interrupted in that TP. That'll be yet another casualty. That was a really scrappy fight. Ember Spirit didn't die. He had like 20 health points rubbed between his fingers, but Wadara was able to get the Remnant out. Was able to dodge any sort of extra damage. Grabbed the kill himself on Jonas and Fan, and That was a really scrappy fight there from NiP.
I think part of the issue was not going for objectives. If Era had just focused, we can see how much damage he already did to the melee barracks, and that was kind of him half. That was the SS focusing it.
Is he actually in trouble here?
Dire's middle tower
Madara, if he
He
goes
should
in for
be
this.
fine with the repel. Limp at best may go down, but I don't think Madara really wants to fight him one-on-one since Limp is still a bit bigger, especially if he's not in a creep wave. But I think that Windrunner, I like the diffusal, I like the idea behind it. It's to deal with a lot of what comes out of Omni Knight. I think though that crit or something would have just been a lot better, since of course you can't focus fire through GA, but you've got a decent amount of lockdown, it feels like, during GA, and you have stuff like Lich ulti bouncing around, which is going to force them to split and not focus your towers.
Yeah, at the same time, eventually someone will have to build a diffusal. And Windrunner is the only one that it actually works on. I mean, it synergizes well with the focus fire. Not quite as well as the crit, as you mentioned, but it's still a lot of extra damage on mana burn. So, not the worst. Someone will have to get it eventually, so why not now? And you do have lockdown, but if you use your lockdown and don't get the damage in during the time, then well, NiP has exactly what they wanted. It's a lot of space that they can use to not take damage while being locked down, and then start using their arsenal after the fact. Limp, he's getting silence up, but he's quite tanky. We'll see you get there as well.
Yeah, he doesn't really care about getting silenced up, right? Like, he can still hit things.
Yep.
He's not someone like Ember, where it's like, oh gosh, I'm silenced up, my Sleight of Fist is pretty much my main source of damage. Limp is like, yeah, I auto-attack for a lot right now, guys. And he hasn't quite gone the battle, he's gone the kind of delayed battle Shadow Fiend build, where he's not gonna, oh, we have an engagement onto the Tiny. It looks like Madara taking a lot of damage. Ice Pulse is gonna hold him in place for a bit, but he should have a Remnant away. But he Remnants over to near the Shadow Fiend, and Shadow Fiend may have seen the movement. No, it looks like he doesn't care. They killed the Diacuria as well somewhere. And I'm also curious as to how Night Stalker is up here and hasn't seen this ward.
Yeah, the Diacuria was up here where Kaiser is right now, on top lane. I don't know why, there was nothing on it. Maybe just scouting for remnants? I don't know. Maybe
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
They have been using it. That's something I know we've only mentioned a few times when they were picking off the Ember, but like they have been using their courier on NiP to scout for remnants, to scout for Ember Spirit, and it's something we don't see much. Unfortunately, the courier went down there, but it had netted them. I think it helped out with both of the kills they've gotten on Ember.
Yep. Is that going to be enough? I mean, he's still dodging left, right, and center. I mean, even with the Tiny on top of him, we talked about it before, they just don't have enough lockdown to bring to him here at the right time.
Yeah,
feels like
I
they
think
need
the
some
other
sort of orchid
issue,
or
though,
something, but it's too late for that as well.
even with the Windrunner and so on, we have a problem where it feels like Tiny can push faster. So they have to be constantly careful. Both teams have to be constantly careful of being pulled back to their bases.
Yep.
And it's ridiculously even when you think about it that way.
Yeah, but the one thing that Golden Boys have, but NiP doesn't have, is once again this Night Stalker with Axe Gem. It's really hard for NiP to actually keep any vision up, and that's a really important part, not only if you want to gank up Madara, but also if you want to safely split push. Right? That's what keeps Golden Boys much more confident in their efforts. I mean, they have they're overwater in jungle now, not spotting anyone out. That means that Kaiser can pretty safely push out his top lane. Madara, well, if he builds a Linken's at some point, then he can feel even more confident than he's feeling right now to just go wherever he pleases. But yeah, Linken's speed actually, yeah, it's probably not the best in this game anyway.
I also think that Golden Boys is going to start pulling ahead off, as you mentioned already, off the back of the Night Stalker, but also AA has the Aghanims up. As these team fights go longer, yeah, this is 17 seconds of the debuff. Jonathan Fan is just dead. He has no way out. Yep. He's going to shatter. He'll be in the snowball for a little bit, but 17 seconds of that tick out, even with Repel, especially since now he's pulled away from the Omni Knight, that is a very dead, yeah, he just shatters. Ember Spirit credited with the kills, but shouldn't be. And yeah, they popped the nighttime. This Roshan is theirs, and it looks like Golden Boys, I mean, they're in a very good position right now.
Yep. Looking at the grass, it's swung back into favor. Oh no, NiP want to fight, but they fight into a Shackle Shot as well as Searing Chains. Got an engine come out, it doesn't really do too much for them. It will already expired. Era finds nothing in the front lines. Madara's still there, gets another Searing Chains up onto the Jakiro. Spells come out, but now there's the Frost Blast. Will bounce around a little bit and actually pick up Hanskin here. Seal get at the same time being locked down by Kaiser. And now the Ice Blast comes in again. Limp with the BKB will be kept alive for a little bit longer now. Era tries to do it again. He will ensure a double kill for Limp, but he should eventually fall to this.
Yeah, he's gonna try to deny himself to Roche, I think, but he should shatter. Yeah. There we go.
Kaiser here, dropping very low to Jonas and Farm, but Madara is still here and still quite healthy. She'll be able to find the kill if the arrow wasn't there, gets a stun, gets a toss, but Madara has another remnant here. Far enough away. So or is it? There's a snowball on top of him, will knock him down, and that might be a very important kill. Never mind, let's kill the Jonas Farm first and foremost. Era getting close to that as well, but eventually get that kill, making it a decent enough trade for NiP, especially. Yeah, they bought back, but they stopped the Roshan. They finally got Madara, and that should be a pretty hefty killing spree, and it is.
They used 2 buybacks. They still, I think it actually is a loss for NiP. Here's why. They used 2 buybacks. They can't actually go for the Roshan right now because AA is still up, and they did kill Nightstalker, but Golden Boys immediately sent out their courier to get that gem back.
All right.
So they. Oh, I think I have to actually double. Yeah, see, the gem is back in base, and Skylark can pick that up when he feels like. So I'm pretty sure NiP, even if they get the Roshan here, they're in a really bad spot where a lot of them don't have buyback. Although it looks like Golden Boys didn't get NiP's gem, so that's a saving grace. And Seal Kid's gonna notice that and be able to pick it up. But
yeah, the question is, what is worse? Losing to buybacks or losing a Roshan up against Golden Boys right now, who are feeling very confident?
Yeah, it does feel like also Golden Boys, I feel like they can kill you twice with their lineup right now. Although a lot of that, again, depending on whether Madara can stay alive in these engagements. He's proved very able to live, and now he has Daedalus in his stash if he wants to buy out for it. Might not, because he's got buyback. But yeah, they're just not seemingly able to go for Mr. Roshan on either side.
It's pretty hard for NiP. If they can't sneak it, then it's pretty much impossible for them to get it safely, just because of that AI blast kind of mitigating any sort of mechanism or Omni Knight heal. And that's a big part of actually winning team fights for them right now. If they can't have that, then it's just not going to work. They need to get the drop on them as well. They need to find a way to lock down this Ember Spirit before he can jump around and do the damage that he wants to. It's just really hard right now. So now it's Golden Boys' turn to go for this run with a focus fire, and NiP looking to contest this again potentially. Are they going to be in time though? This one is falling pretty fast with that MKB.
I think their best play here would have actually been to push out their lanes because they can't fight it. It's going to go down to the
BKB
Wind
comes
Runner.
up in the front, and Era gets a stun onto Ancient Apparition, so no Ice Blast here in this fight. Skylark dropping very low, the Shackle will not latch, but Kaiser pulls on the focus fire again. Will now have to run away thanks to the BKB. Era will find Skanks here. It's the 2 supports down. But what else? Roshan
Yeah, they got the Aegis and Cheese.
Roshan didn't go their way, so Golden Boys, they're feeling fine with that.
I think both teams are probably very happy with this. It is a big swing in gold for NiP, but you have to remember, it's what we talked about. You've got Cheese now up on this Windrunner, even though they have an MKB onto Shadow Fiend. Windrunner also got her MKB up, so both of them can touch each other despite the evasion. And they're looking to go in top lane, but if this creep wave is cleared, they will have backdoor protection. So.
No.
Oh no, it was close enough for those 14 seconds. If Madara can keep them busy, he does have Aegis, he's gonna be using it here, and there's gonna be a Shackle coming out on air. He's probably gonna go down there. MKB procs hitting, but at the same time, Limp just going in ham onto these racks. The backdoor protection, when is it gonna kick in? The creeps aren't near the base. Limp is still repelled up, and it looks like it's finally starting to regen. And they're gonna back out, getting the Aegis down, I think, a big win for them. But here comes AA Bloss if they want it.
Madara's
so all of NiP backing out.
He's ready to jump in at any time, but they know that this could be happening, so they retreat safely and wisely. With nice little gambit here, they do some damage, but only to the male racks, which will regenerate, and still not out of the woods yet. It is nighttime, Skylark's pretty fast, so is Madara, but these boots of travel. They're looking for more. Limp doesn't have a blink dagger.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, and they stop the chase. They know that they've gone a little bit too far, and don't really want to give it away. Right now, our buyback status is just 1 for Shadow Fiend, and then on Golden Boys they have it on Lich and Ember Spirit. So neither side really wants to make a mistake and be forced backwards on their item progression. Although Ember, I believe, has enough for crit, and yeah, he can buy out his crit now. The Daedalus.
Yep, Courier's on the way to the
that'll be
secret shop,
helpful.
so that'll be that. Courier even has cheese on him, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Be
picked it
safe.
up and then put it on the courier. It makes sense because now I think she wants to give it to Ember, so that Ember doesn't
Yep.
die. You know, he can get very low, and then if he has a second, he can immediately use it.
Yep, there it is.
So. And he can feel free to buy a second crit. I think second crit over second Battle Fury here, but it's really up to him. He may end up going, as you pointed out, a defensive item. He doesn't want to, but he may feel forced into it.
Yeah.
So
Maybe even the BKB at this point, I wouldn't really hate that. Oh, Jonathan gets a punch up onto the air. Errors there invis. So didn't know he's here. I'm not quite sure. There's Ice Blood, but our gets out though. And Jonathan not so lucky. BKBs galore on both sides. Lim trying to do what he can, but he's being carried around Skylark. I don't know what he's doing. He's just dancing around here around Anskin. As he can. Oh wow, he gets caught though. Shadow Fiend's ultimate will put a stop to it. It actually turns around with a couple of right clicks here on that MKB, but there's a shackle shot. Will bring him down. Anskin and back, not enough to actually save him. Gold Boy still looking very strong, especially since Madara can come back right away. Lift it up into the air and they'll keep Hanskin safe, but at what cost? They only get the Night Stalker. They lose Limp.
And I think I could have seen this wrong. I think they lost their gem as well, and it's something that doesn't show up in the fight recap.
I think
their gem is still on cooldown. Yeah, they did lose it, and it's on cooldown for another minute.
Yeah, Omni had it right there.
It's really hard to talk about how devastating that is, just because it's an item that's on cooldown. Yeah, they'll have it back up again, but it's rough, and they're going to lose more map vision. Now, Golden Boys need to go and kind of seal the deal here. A number of buybacks were used, but there are still 2 on NiP, and if they can get a push in, it looks like they're rotating top, they can really roll the game. They take a Rax, things get much, much harder for NiP.
Yep.
So I think that's the right decision. We've also got smokes ready on both teams, I say, as Omni Knight buys out his team smokes, and they have 1 smoke left on Golden Boys as well. So, okay, that was a life choice on Remnant.
We should be fine unless Jonathan goes in, but there's no way you can kill him alone.
Oh, Ember's going for an MKB as well.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
then.
No, that makes sense.
It's kind of interesting, but at the same, so a lot of people are like, why are you going for an MKB? You have cleave on your Battle Fury, which ignores evasion. Well, he might be faced up with a thing, or with an instance where he has to actually chase down manually the Shadow Fiend, and he wants to make sure he doesn't miss there. And speaking of Ember Spirit, pretty sure he's gonna get jumped on, but does he? Oh, he gets caught by the end of the avalanche. He can't get away. Will he be able to use the cheese in time? He has Remnant away. He hasn't used the cheese yet. There's a snowball in, but Ember, no, he's just gonna go home.
Have the cheese
that
on
was
him.
close. Oh, he must have used it last team fight, and I moved out on that. But yeah, really close there. He got very low. And they must be kicking themselves on NiP.
Well, low is not low enough. Only absolutes count in the world of Dota, so Golden Boys is still in a pretty good spot. And they don't even lose Kaiser here, so the big problem for NiP is that the Shadow Fiend is still on top of the net worth chart, but not for long here. Ember Spirit has been able to catch up tremendously well in Shadow Fiend. His item progression has kind of stopped, right? He has sold on to buyback, he's been picked up a couple of times recently. So sure, he has these big items, but same for Era, right? I mean, he has a moonshot now, so he hits pretty damn fast and pretty damn strong. But hey, there's a team fight here. Shackle, Kaiser gets knocked down though, and all being brought down here with the magical burst damage, and now the rest of Gold Boys kind of have to run away. Skylark just trying to TP out in front of everyone else, will be able to. Frostblast will not bounce. Madara's still there, but he's giving toss up into the air. He should fall this time around. There it is.
Yep.
That was not the fight they wanted to go for. I was just about to point out that NiP's biggest problem is that they're being kited around, but if Golden Boys are running into them like that, then that doesn't really end up mattering. That's where they can use their strengths. That's where they can use the Shadow Fiend and the Tiny, who hit pretty damn hard if you just let them.
Yeah, and they're going to be forced into both buybacks, I'm pretty sure. Ember will be here soon. And we see the kind of downside to Ember, he doesn't have enough damage if there aren't creeps or all the heroes are grouped up, and their positioning was perfect. Shackle isn't gonna latch. This guy is repelled. Windrunner has to, I think, just kind of run up and focus fire him, but she's scared of taking too much damage. She doesn't have a defensive item. She has a defusal instead of a BKB, and so it's gonna be really rough. Blast might hit one with the Shackle. They can pick off Limp here if they focus fire, but he's rescued into the snowball. His positioning is gonna be a little bit scary here, but Keys are gonna go down, and that was her dieback. Ember Spirit buys out. Can he get into this team fight and do something? But I'm not sure. And now Shadow Fiend, Tiny on the backlines. He might go down, but he's healed up by the repel. Does Ember have it? He does. Now they have to work on Limp, though. They've lost a set of ranged melee racks up top, and Madara taking too much damage. Battle Fury doing good work, but look at this poor little AA. He's trying to kill up an SF, and he can't do it. Night Stalker has brought back. Jonas and Fam is escaping with Limp, and it looks like NiP. No, the Searing Chains latch. Madara, can he do it? He needs to do more and more damage, but they use S-Blades, and now his only hope. One more auto attack on Steel Kid. Get it? No! Okay, I was worried. He had to crit there. I thought he was going to cancel it because he did once, but yeah, a pretty devastating fight for Golden Boys. They were definitely feeling like they were really ahead, and they've lost all of that lead that they had in net worth, in experience, and in positioning, being a racks down.
Yeah, that's the late game Dota effect, especially up against a Tiny. If you lose one team fight, if you lose one or two crucial heroes, like the Windrunner as well as the Ember Spirit here in that fights in the middle of the map, then all it really takes is that to lose your racks, especially if the tier 3 is already down. So Era doing the objective-based gaming thing, pushes down with melee racks, and now they are ahead in terms of objectives, and it's gonna make it much harder for Golden Boys to keep this aggression up and running.
So Lich has a plate mail. I'm not sure if he's thinking Lotus Orb or something. I mean, he could also be making an AC for his team, although I'm used to seeing that on the Night Stalker. I'm just trying to brainstorm what exactly this plate mail is going into on the Lich.
Yeah, most likely Lotus Orb.
It doesn't feel that great here, the Lotus Orb, right? Like, you might end up snowballing one of your teammates, which could be really bad, right? You could also end up. What are the other bad interactions? You get Yuled, and then like the other person gets Yuled, but it doesn't matter. They're gonna pick off the Tusk here, just a really quick pick off. Nothing he can do.
I'm thinking about things that could be purged off by the Lotus Orb, but also not really a whole lot.
Not much. It's the same reason why the Diffusal is, while it's of course good against Omni Knight's toolkit, it's not really helping them at all defensively, which is why this Windrunner is falling so fast.
He is so dead.
Yeah. That's what you get when you're a Lich, unfortunately. Yep. And I also kind of expected maybe the Lich to go more of the item. So AA has a Glimmer Cape, has a Force Staff, but traditionally as an AA, you don't want to be in a position where you could actually use those items because you want to be further away from the fight to get the big AA blast. So it's kind of interesting. I know a lot of this just comes down to Lich is the 5, AA is not with the Midas. He actually has higher net worth than the Night Stalker. But kind of unfortunate how Golden Boy's itemization is going.
Speaking of itemization, with these last couple of team fights, Shadow Fiend has also been able to get back on track, really, so to speak. As he's still ahead, but he's now much further ahead than he was, and he's right where he needs to be right now. He does finish up the Daedalus of his own, another 4,000 gold in the bank, so that'll be Boots of Travel plus buyback if he needs it. And yeah, that's Boots of Travel right now. We'll replace the treads, and yeah, that's about as big as he's gonna get, though. He can replace Sanj Nyasha for what? Oh wow, there might be an engagement here. They do find the Windrunner, catch him with the Ice Bomb, and they will burst it down with the magical damage, and that's a big deal. There's no buyback. 80 seconds on the sidelines for Kaiser.
That's what we talked about before. She needs a BKB. This Yule's Ice Path combo is killing her, and they're gonna try to push out their lanes with the Ember, but it's not enough of a threat to bring people home. Oh, now Era, he's just going in. It's gonna be the Force Stealth. We have to eat our words with that, getting caught out a little bit there. But now Era's just gonna work on their ranged racks. He's gonna have that down really fast. It's got backdoor protection, but I don't know. And now the Ember Spirit, they're actually people. He's TPing back. Let's see if he can do anything here. He needs there to be creeps, but with that Ice Shard up, the creeps aren't gonna come in, and so this Sleight of Fist not gonna do nearly as much work. Era is repelled as well. There's gonna be an Ice Path coming out. Ember Spirit didn't have a remnant away, so he has to just stand there. They've lost their melee racks. Ember Spirit doing a lot of damage there, but again, not enough. Ice Blast, is it going to do anything at all? Oh, it's going to have a couple of good bounces, but with the snowball coming out, nothing more. And again, Tiny Era is just chilling in their base. There's nothing it feels like they can do. Looking like Golden Boys is going to be down 2 racks because they'll probably rotate top, and
the courier is just watching everything.
Yeah. It was just like,
Oh,
look
man.
at the stuff I put up with. They're trying to go into limp, but I don't know if they have it. They do get the searing chains off. Where's the follow-up? A-plus completely off the mark. And that's gotta be...
It's gotta be frustrating
Now-
for Golden Boys. I mean, they've
Yeah.
been doing so well this entire game, and then a couple of pickoffs, and there's just nothing you can do up against a Tiny. I mean, Ember Spirit is a spread damage carry, as you find them described in the books, right? I mean, if there's a lot of heroes, you can do so much damage, but against singular ones, especially someone with craggy exterior, that's just really, really hard, because you can't get close to Tiny, you're just gonna get locked down, and then killed. They need this Roshan, and that's exactly why they're smoking up to get it. They should be able to finish it off fairly fast, and NiP's actually not in a position to fight it just yet. Limp is still healing up inside the base. We're just now making his way down. I'm not actually going for it.
What do you do here if you're Golden Boys, right? You could maybe hope for a smoke gank of Gloriousness, but since both teams don't have, both teams are kind of grouping together and moving just because of the state of their no outer towers, and Golden Boys has to be really cognizant of their base, so I feel like smoke gank and pray is kind of your only way. You have to fight for this next Roshan.
Yeah. But Ember Spirit, he teleported back. Now NiP is in position, and at this point, it's gonna be really, really hard to fight it, especially if you don't land a really value Ice Blast. They do get Jonas and Farm on the back with the Searing Chains. There's the Ice Puff's not hitting anyone, actually, and that is
He's
where they
too
have
close.
to get the hell out. BKB on Skylark, but what can he do at this point? Era pops his own BKB and just man fights. Fedora getting so low in the back and being bursted down by something. Same for the Ancient Apparition. Now Frostblast comes in, but it doesn't really do nearly enough. Skanks will fall as well after the snowball. That's a triple kill for the Shadow Friend, and he teleports right into mid. He wants to finish this right now. Kaiser, he's on the run. There's not a whole lot he can do alone. Top lane's pushing in, middle lane's pushing in. They don't. I think they can take this bottom lane Rax if they want to, and yeah, they're gonna play it safe.
They don't need to, but it's gonna be GG's cold most likely. There, the Ember Spirit again. We see the lack of defensive item. Monta anything BKB. He needed one, and the thing that killed him actually was Shadow Fiend's lost auto attack was a 1700 damage crit or something because of that Daedalus. It was really big, and with the minus armor and so on, yeah, it was just not. Although I don't know what the sticky time is on Presence of the Dark Lord, but this is probably gonna be GG. They're gonna do Desperation Dieback. Can Madara do anything? The Searing Chains do latch on one, but he'd have to go through that Necro. Oh, and he's just dead. No, that's it. So we're going to a game 2.
Yeah.
And after it looked really good for Golden Boys there, I feel.
It's just the experience from NiP coming through here in the late game. It's all there is to it. They've been able to hang on to their base. They've been able to fight up against Golden Boys when encountered, and then at some point their lineup just. I mean, especially with Lich, who isn't really scaling too well. Same for the Night Stalker, if you can't really make use of the vision.
I think it came down to Ember being picked off. He didn't really go the right items for, I shouldn't say the right items, but he was trying to go the full damage build and really didn't want to go for a BKB. I think a BKB could have won them the game there easily because he was doing so well, and then once Tiny and the Yules with the Ice Path got online, you just don't have enough remnants to throw out to